You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Not quite my tempo. Sorry. Are you a pusher? Or are you a dragger? Or are you gonna be on my fucking time?
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Dude, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit with live stream. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah, welcome to Moviesucktastic, episode
right.
number
159.
in which we're just tackling the Oscars. We're trying to get every Oscar film reviewed before the big show. So we're doubling up, 2 episodes a week, shorter ones. We can't go too crazy. And
That's
this
right.
week we're going to do... Now, I didn't really know much about the Grand Budapest Hotel ahead of time. I hadn't seen it yet. So I didn't realize how much these two films kind of complemented each other when we decided upon them, you and I.
Right.
And so we're reviewing the Grand Budapest, the Grand Budapest Hotel now.
I do the same thing. I can't. I just fumble the fucking word. Right. It's just Budapest.
Yeah. And then after the next episode is going to be on American Sniper.
Right.
Both films, which wasn't really that. It's not the reason we did it, but both films do have a strong war theme to them.
Very much.
So, yeah. So, welcome, bienvenue.
Welcome.
Or or in live stream.
That was actually too good. All right. So, first thing I want to just pick your brain about right off the bat. So just get right to it.
Yes.
Did the aspect ratio fucking piss you off as much as it did me?
Of course not.
Of course not. Did it piss anybody off?
Not that I was watching it with. I got used to it. But he uses 3 different aspect ratios, one for each time period.
Right.
One of them you only see very, very briefly, so it has no bearing on a situation.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. So I agree with you that it's unnecessary.
Very
And
much so.
However, when you're watching the film, if you pay attention, Wes Anderson has a very breathing my microphone here. Wes has a very stylized and very succinct style, and he's very. How do I keep? God damn it! Sorry. And a lot of it's framing. It's a very storybookish. Everything's very centered, or it's
Right.
Framing is everything in his films, and the square 4:3 ratio, he utilizes it in the framing of the scenes. When you're watching the scenes in the Budapest Hotel in the 80s, I believe it is, and then when it goes back to the flashbacks, you can tell that he's framing for 4:3, or he's framing for the letterbox. It's all taken into consideration.
Oh, and believe me, I understand that.
Yeah.
Completely. It still pisses me off.
I got used to it, and the fact that he used it, he didn't just okay now it's he didn't pull a Schindler's List. It wasn't just for some kind of goofy effect. It actually.
At least Schindler's List was fucking widescreen the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Right. So I didn't mind it because I thought so the fact that he used it and didn't just say, "Oh, we'll just letterbox it." Everything was framed and directed for that size. So for me, it was an unnecessary artistic flourish, but still one that was pulled off and did accentuate the film. So I'm not as vehemently against it as you are, but I will concede that it didn't have to be that way.
Well, and I think, and I mentioned this last week too, when we decided that we were going to review it. I think the biggest reason why I am so against it is because I enjoyed the film a lot. I just didn't like that. I just didn't like that I enjoyed it so much, and then every time I'm going to want to watch this film, because I do see myself watching this again multiple times. It's just, and I'll probably get used to it, but it still will annoy me. Be like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. and luckily, 90% of the film is in that aspect ratio, so it's not like it's hopping back and forth a lot. So it just, you know what? I don't want the bars on the side of my TV. Why do I need that? Why do I need that? I don't. Not that there's any chance of it burning into my screen, because in the newer televisions nowadays that doesn't happen, but it still annoys the fuck out of me. It does. Sorry. Besides
the ratios, do you have anything else to say about the film?
No. No,
I didn't think so.
It's, again, we've mentioned this numerous times. It's really hard to review films you like. The only thing that we can really talk about is what we liked in the film. Like, you know what I really liked that Wes Anderson did really well. It kind of took me back to Fantastic Mr. Fox a little bit. Is the little bits of stop motion that he had. It's very, very light on that, and the miniatures. He did a lot of miniatures in the film.
Well, he's always done miniature type things in some ways, or like his big thing is like the whole side diagram. Again, very storybookish. It's like most of his films are like you're reading a storybook. So, and having some of that into play, the fact that some of the stop motion or animation that was in the film was stylized to give that kind of like fantasy chase sequence, like near the end, things like that. It gave a flavor to the film, because again the whole film is a story being told to an author, and so just like the Lone Ranger as an example, the film takes on a kind of fantastic quality because what you're being told is technically a legend or a story or a fable, and so it's happening within the imagination. It's not supposed to be a factual document,
right.
So you're allowed to play with that, and it really makes it more. It gives it more of that storybook. And I'm saying storybook a lot, but this film really epitomizes his styles when it comes to the storybook feel.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But I agree with you on that. That was a great part of the film.
I liked it very much.
Yeah, I really don't read much about films before I see them anymore. I read everything afterwards, so I really didn't know too much about the plot going into it.
Me neither. It was what ended up happening. I mentioned it, I think, last week and the week before. We were just flipping through channels. It was 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever it was, and we came across it. And I actually missed the first 10 minutes. The film started with me with Jude Law and F. Murray Abraham sitting across from each other, and then I literally saw about 5 seconds of a widescreen shot at that point. Literally 5 seconds. And then 4:3 aspect ratio, and I just turned to my wife. I go, what the fuck? What just happened?
Oh, and I'm sure her eyes rolled into the back of her head.
Yeah, maybe. And then I just went on. I was like, is this an HBO thing? Are they just showing it this way? Is this how it's... And, of course, I had to look it up and find out that that's what he wanted. But I saw it by accident, just flipping through channels, and I didn't know who directed it, but 5 minutes in, I was like, this is a Wes Anderson film. Because it's undeniable. Just his style. Oh, yeah. It's just, you can completely see it, a mile away. If you've seen one Wes Anderson film, not that I'm not going to say you've seen them all, because that's not true, but if you've seen one, you know his style. You'll be able to tell them all, like which ones he's done.
Well, I actually watched this with Holly, and her daughter got home at one point, and halfway through, and she is not a movie person, so she walked in and she watched like 5 minutes, and then just said, "Why does this remind me of Mr. Fox?" I was like, "There you go."
Even everything from in a lot of the scenes, like in the hotel, like I'm looking at it right now. There's a lot of gold and orange hues, and that's no mistake. A lot of his films have that kind of filter. The oranges and golds. He has not a fascination, but he has a liking to that. And his films, they take that look to them, and they're very unique. I mean, Fantastic Mr. Fox is primarily an orange movie. A lot of the scenes in that film have those colors and tones, and it works really well. And it does in this film as well. Not to say the same word twice.
And as well.
As well. I try not to do
I,
that.
I as well. One thing I don't think gets talked about enough when talking about. Let's both just repeat the same thing over and over again, and we'll be done.
Well.
Well. Also, I don't think enough focus is directed on his dialogue, and it's always it's a masterful blend of stilted, kind of like verbose, unnatural dialogue, but always mixed in with very natural dialogue as well. It's just it's this weird amalgam where like things that are said sometimes are not the way people really talk.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, everything in the entire movie except for the very opening with the older. What was the actor's name?
Ray Fiennes.
At the very beginning.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
F. Murray Abraham. F. Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham.
Apart from him, everything else is being told. You're being told the story of the Grand Budapest Hotel, but the being told the story is actually a story being told about being told the story.
Right.
And the whole thing is actually being read by a girl. So there's 4 layers to the movie right there.
Which is the author is Jude Law. He hears the story,
that's the younger author.
Writes the book, and then they flash forward very quickly to him as an older man. What?
I fucked up. F. Murray Abraham is Mustafa. He's the lobby boy.
Lobby boy.
Right. What I was trying to say was Tom Wilkinson, who
who
plays the author.
Who is the older Jude Law? You see Jude Law as a young man,
correct,
when he's being told this story, and he later.
Jude Law is a young man. Tom Wilkinson is the. Jude Law is a young Tom Wilkinson. Now, all right.
Correct. They're not two different people. They're not two different.
It sounds like we're discussing a Memento, but that's the beauty of how he pulls this film off too, because it's not confusing in the least. But if you try to explain it, the film starts off like at the end after everybody's dead,
right,
and goes back into the book. Then, like the story being told, like you're going back further and further. It's it's just great. But the dialogue, what I started to talk about, and I got sidetracked, is I love the only other thing I can compare it to off the top of my head is like Raising Arizona. There's an unnatural feel to the dialogue, but you never doubt that it's coming from real people.
Yeah, and to bring up dialogue, Ray Fiennes, his dialogue, the way he delivers this entire film, I'm surprised he didn't get nominated for a Best Actor.
It's a tragedy, and
he's brilliant in this movie, good.
And I don't want to give him too much credit because Wes Anderson, as the screenwriter, just how he throws the cursing into this, like, just this supposedly refined character,
right,
who just drops fucks left and right. I mean, my favorite line of the film, the one that I want to it's like I had to rewind twice because I loved it, is and I have it here because I wanted to read it. Is when after they. I don't want to say what he did, but they're on the train and he's talking about writing his will, and he says, "If I die first, and I most certainly will, you will be my sole heir. There's not much in the kitty except a set of ivory-backed hairbrushes and my library of romantic poetry, but when the time comes, these will all be yours, along with whatever we haven't already spent on whores and whiskey." and the next 15 minutes, all I can think in my head is whatever we haven't already spent on whores and whiskey. That is the best fucking line ever.
And there's a couple of scenes in trains, and they're both good dialogue-wise.
But the whole now, but again, it's the dialogue is, it's not it's not real dialogue. It never feels like you're watching something fake.
Right. I mean, even when
I really give it credit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. See, Wes Anderson is a screenwriter and as a director, pulls it off just because he knows exactly what he's doing with both.
Yeah. I mean, even when Ray Fiennes is delivering a line like where he's talking, it for most of the time it's usually another male counterpart where he calls him darling, But the way he delivers it's fucking charming, You know
where Wes Anderson sets it up. He sets it up. The first time you meet Gustav,
yeah.
He's with the elderly rich woman, and he's like, this reciting poetry and just very suave, debonair. And then when she pulls away, what he described, when he said, "I'd never seen her like that before," he says she was shaking like a shitting dog.
Yeah.
And like Wes, he does it right there after she's gone. It's like, okay, this is the real person. He's still eloquent, but vulgar at the same time.
Right, and you love him for it.
He's like, So earlier on, there's the question of, well, did like the lobby boy asked him, "Were you ever a lobby boy first?" And he kind of hints with his character that this is something he aspired to be. He never was.
Right.
So like he took on like I guess you say taking on airs, but it doesn't make the character any less likable or in some ways heroic. It's just fucking brilliant dialogue, and can I also say brilliant casting because I hate Adrian Brody.
I know you do, and I knew we were going to talk about it. Scott really dislikes Adrian Brody, but here's the thing.
Let me say, hold on. Oh, you go ahead.
I was going to say, but he wholeheartedly admits that the motherfucker can act.
He's a brilliant actor. Brilliant actor. If you have never seen The Jacket, that movie alone,
yep.
like there's no way you can watch that and then say he's not a great. He whatever he pulls everything from. But as a person, as an entity, as a celebrity, I cannot stand him.
Yeah, I mean,
and I especially can't stand him when they put him in like leading roles, like in King Kong. Can't stand it. So when he plays a completely evil asshole, brilliant. I want more.
I love it when he finally sees that the painting is missing, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they answer him, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, it's just
so good. But like Scott said with the jacket, when he's in, what is he gets put in? One of those lockers, like where they put dead bodies, in the jacket, where he actually goes back in time with it. Yeah, just the way he delivers, just the way he's stuck in there, the claustrophobic, feeling that he has, just where he's crying, just into his own hand, or not into his own hand, just like looking straight up, and it's just brilliant. So yeah, Scott hates Adrian Brody, but he respects him in some weird fucked up way as well. Just doesn't like him in leading roles.
No, I just don't like him. But I do want to bring up too. We talked about doing later on. Maybe we can do it throughout because I have to bring it up now. I want to take a look at these. And Adrian Brody is an Oscar actor.
Yeah, he won for the Pianist,
right?
Which was a dark horse win. No one expected him to win that year.
It was a Holocaust movie. Of course, it was going to.
No, but it was done by Polanski, and Hollywood hates him. So
no, Hollywood defended him the longest time. Hollywood does not hate him.
They defended. Defended him. Is that why if he steps one foot into this country, he'll be arrested on sight?
Right. That would be our government because he broke the law. Hollywood does not hate
I thought
Polanski.
they-
There may be some people that badmouth him, but Hollywood as a whole does not. Hollywood looked the other way for the longest time with
Didn't he
Polanski.
rape a 15-year-old?
But that's neither here nor there. So Adrian Brody being an Oscar winner, even though he's not nominated for this film, I want to bring up this idea I had where we take a look at these Oscar-winning actors and actresses, and maybe even directors or screenwriters, producers, and look back and say, okay, what film do they regret?
Right.
Maybe they'll never say it, but what film do they look back and go, oh, what the fuck was I thinking? If they could go back in time and like kill their agent before this movie was given to them, what film would it be?
Yeah, for Adrian Brody, off the top of my head, maybe what was it? The one that he did, Son of Sam, the Spike Lee film. He might not have.
No, you're not.
It's
you're not
not bad
thinking
enough.
really
I'd have,
I will
I'd have to
elaborate.
actually look at his resume.
I didn't have to.
You didn't?
I didn't have to because when he popped up on the screen, and when I saw Adrian Brody was in the film, paying attention to the movie, but every time I saw him, all I could think of was Predators.
Ooh, Predators.
Predators. How does he look back at that film? We're gonna get off this planet, and not just
Which I still
cringe.
haven't
Like,
seen. I haven't seen that one. I
You
haven't
haven't seen Predators?
seen Predators yet.
You gotta be fucking kidding me! Oh wow! How did you manage that?
You know what?
Oh.
I'll tell you how. It plays.
I know we talked about it.
It plays or has played ad nauseum on Cinemax, which I don't have. I have HBO and Showtime.
That's not. You can get any film.
No,
you
no,
want.
I
It's
know.
not
So I never went out of my way otherwise to see it.
that goes on the list of films that you have to watch because my
Well,
God.
if we're going to talk about, if we're going to do
we did-
this list, I probably should see it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we obviously if it wasn't for the fact that we have all these Oscar films to do, I'd be challenging that to you right now. You better hope I forget.
No, you won't. That's a guarantee.
But we did talk about it on the show. I don't remember if I did a solo episode about it or if I mentioned I'd seen it, but I know we have mentioned it on the show.
We have mentioned it on the show.
but
I believe you saw
but
it at the
hasn't been
drive-in
officially.
and mentioned it that way.
No, I didn't see it at the drive-in. I watched that at home. I did not see it at the
Yeah?
drive-in. I'm almost positive. I have
We
no
didn't
idea.
review it.
Ignore
I
me.
know that. I know you
No, we
just
did not officially
talked about
review it. No. Yeah. But anyway, I got sidetracked because Adrian Brody. Hey, so many people in this film too. Harvey Keitel, who
Almost don't
would not
recognize,
Yeah, if it had been pointed out to me that he was in the film and that was him, I probably.
I mean,
would
I
not
knew
have
it was
him.
him, but I was like, holy shit, that's Harvey Keitel, and he's completely bald and practically naked, a la Bad Lieutenant style. He just needed to stand up, I guess, which he didn't do in the scene. But I was actually surprised at how fit he fucking is for, like, what is he, 70?
Yeah. But Jeff Goldblum,
Willem Dafoe.
George Clooney makes a guest
Ed
appearance.
Norton, George Clooney makes a guest appearance. Bill Murray is a
Norton.
guest appearance. F. Murray Abraham, obviously. Jude Law, Tom Wilkinson.
So many names in the film.
Tons. All-star
Yeah,
cast.
It's just like he's like Wes Anderson. I mean, obviously people are getting paid, but he is one of those directors that is really truly admired. And this is his first Oscar nomination for production or direction, or for Best Picture, I think. Correct?
Well, I guess
Sure.
for live action, yeah, because he was nominated for Fantastic Mr. Fox for animated, but lost, which I still think he should have won. Oh, also Jason Schwartzman is in it. Tilda Swinton. Just to go down the list.
Now you're just reading off the credits.
I'm actually I knew Jason Schwartzman was in it, and I just happened to see everybody else as well.
Most of the cast of his previous films, but pretty much, if you've been in a Wes Anderson film, odds are you were in this one.
That is correct.
It is odd that I don't think he's ever had another film up for Best Picture, and he's such a. I think that there's a good chance of this film winning Best Picture just for one of those kind of, yeah, you know what, we've been ignoring this guy all the time, and he makes wonderful films.
He did have one other that was Best Picture.
If I have to look it up, I will. But I could have sworn that he didn't have anything
Well,
else.
this is
Best Picture.
nominated for 9 Oscars. This is actually tied for the most nominations with, I believe, Boyhood. So, I mean, it does have a very good chance of winning.
Oh, there goes.
Yeah,
You still there?
I can't go
Live
anywhere on the
stream.
fucking internet because live stream. Jesus Christ, it's CPU above 80%.
here-
Mother, just fucking live stream. I'm on the internet.
a vast.
This is a problem all of a sudden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oscars. I've got the list. Nominated for screenplay, for Royal Tenenbaums, animated feature, Fox, screenplay, Moonrise Kingdom, screenplay, Grand Budapest. Grand Budapest is the first Best Picture nomination he's ever gotten,
Wow,
and the first directing.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was. Well, all right, that's fine. That's awesome. I thought he was nominated for Best Picture
I'm reading
once
off the
before,
list.
but maybe I was just thinking of Fantastic Mr. Fox for Best Animated Picture.
Probably. That's probably it. Yeah. So I think that the odds are great that this will win Best Picture. Just because.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean because of that. But it's a great film. I had some people saying, "Oh, you'll cry at the end."
Yeah,
I didn't
fuck
cry
that.
at the end. But it's yeah, I don't know what that's about. Someone tells me you're gonna cry at the end. It's like, all right, then that means there's dead kittens or something. Because let's not get fucking crazy. Yeah, all right. Emotions are going to be brought up, sure, but great. Just and this is one of those films I really can see myself watching over and over again because of the direction, the cinematography, the set design. The one thing I loved in the hotel, in the 80s hotel, is it was this idea of marred beauty, and you're seeing these grand rooms and all this like fading decor, and then no matter what wall you looked at, there are huge signs everywhere. Like it's just right next to do not use elevator in case of fire. Floors are slippery when wet. Just all these other just ugly signs marring the beauty of it. And it's
it truly felt like an 80s. Like the motif was totally 80s. Now, working, excuse me, in the field that I work in a lot of old buildings that have not changed their style since the 80s. Like I've seen that style of carpeting and wallpaper and walls and giant signs everywhere. It's very, very reminiscent of what I've seen in this film. So when I saw it in this movie, it's like, wow, this really looks authentic. It really looks like this is a building caught in the 80s. He did it, well, because it was taking place in the 80s, but he did an amazing job with that, completely. So now we're at the 31-minute mark here.
The only thing I want to mention that we haven't touched on too much is again, since we're doing American Sniper for the next episode, is that the film does have there's a lot about the war.
Correct. It's taking place in the early to mid 30s, this time period. So the war is just about it's building up to that. Yeah,
It's gearing up.
So
yeah, and there's a lot about the young lobby boy. You find out is a refugee. His family was killed during the war. He's escaped from that, and then they end up dealing with the military and the invasions, and there's just a lot about I mean, like it's a changing of eras in how the war just kind of like swept away this kind of this era and brought about the next, and just how the film overlaps from modern day and then goes back and back and back. It just kind of shows how the different time periods overlap, not just from war to peace, but the overlapping styles and moralities, the culture, and that seems to be a major theme of the film. Just kind of this overlapping of stories and of, and what I found was that as we go into American Sniper in the next episode, there is that idea of nobility and sacrifice, but happening not in a wartime setting, but not within the war. And the film has a very negative view of
completely
war,
yeah,
because because all war does in the sense of this story is destroy everything around.
Yeah, everyone
them.
is affected by it in this movie. Not every single character.
Well, but not they are, but not in a way that really affects the story too much.
No, absolutely.
Which is no, but that's the interesting thing about the thing. It's the story is really like an art heist kind of thing in some ways. It's like a crime story, but again, the war just kind of frames it all, and the brutality of it, and the brutality of the war, and just sweeping across the country, framing this suave, petite little man with such heightened. I'm rambling at this point.
I'm letting you go.
But
I'm letting you go. Yeah, of course.
But you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's like his confrontations with it too. Like he doesn't flinch, and even like face to face with this horde of just death and ugliness, really ugliness. And he is about beauty in the life and in the world, and that kind of clash between the two, and how the ugliness in some ways wins, but it's never. But the beauty never. Surrenders. And for me, that was an underlying theme of the film. And then going into American Sniper, that kind of plays the opposite of that. So
we should go ahead and rate this on IMDb.
Oh well, I don't want to set a precedence here, but I'm ready to go 10 stars.
You know,
again.
it's amazing that 2 weeks in a row that I was going to say either 10, or if you didn't want to do 10, I said I wouldn't go lower than 9.
You know what? I'm willing to say 9, if for no other reason, because the while it was an inspired choice, I don't know if the ratio differences was needed or necessary with everything else going on in the film.
But I will give him credit for trying it. I will also give him credit for this is one of the very reasons why people will cream in their pants over nominating it. You know, although it deserves it completely otherwise, people in the business will they fawn over shit like this. You know, completely. They'll just, what he was doing with the aspect ratios, he used 3 different ones, 3 different time periods, it's absolutely brilliant. It's like, you know what, the film is brilliant anyway. You don't need to do the aspect ratio gimmick, as you will. I know it'll probably never be released in a standard, format ratio. I would prefer it that way. I would own it that way, preferably. I'll own it this way too because I love the film.
You can't do that now because it's not like he just cropped it. He framed every scene for that 4:3 ratio, so
yes,
it would ruin the film.
What I'm looking at here, is because it's in a 4:3 right now. I'm just envisioning what it would look like if it was in a widescreen. If they used the aspect ratio and just cropped the top and bottom, it would look awful. It just wouldn't work.
Well, even if you ignore his explanation about going for a pre-war feel, the fact that the centerpiece of this, or the MacGuffin, if you will, of this entire story is the painting, and the film itself is kind of like a portrait, and everything has that kind of boxed, framed feel. The sets, the scenes, everything's framed, everything's boxed, and I think that it's visually, drives home that theme of the portrait of beauty, which is what the film is about. So, I will say that I want to give it a 10, but if you want to go to 9, I will not argue, but obviously nothing lower.
Here's the thing.
Let's not take it forever.
Even though it could deservedly go to 9 because of the aspect ratio. I found it distracting, but not enough to still not enjoy every minute of this film, so I'd be fine with going 10. I won't hold the aspect ratio against it as far as how good of a film it is. Let's put it that way.
I want to point out that there were no black actors or actresses nominated for this film.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. You're very astute.
Yeah, I noticed that. No one told me or anything.
All right, so we've gone way longer than we said we would. It's not my
That's your fault.
I wanted to rate the movie and end the show, and you wanted me to rattle off nominations.
If you hadn't spent 10 minutes on aspect ratios, we would have been fine. So look for our other review show episodes. We're going to be reviewing the Oscars. Go to the Facebook page for Moviesucktastic. We'll be talking about the Oscars there and asking our listeners to give their own what's the word? Predictions.
Sure.
On the Oscars. I might even try to offer us a prize for whoever gets the best.
I'm sure I got enough shit lying around here I could give something away.
We might have to do something like that. Just put a little kitty out there.
We should do a poll just simply for what do you think will win Best Picture with the 8 nominees, and just throw that out. Just throw that on our Facebook page and have people vote on that. Which we're getting a ton of new likes recently, which is awesome. So we got some new listeners.
Where else can we people find out?
Well, you can go to our website first of all at moviesucktastic.com. You can catch us live every week if live stream isn't trying to destroy my computer, and it's moviesucktastic.com. You can go to the live stream part of the site and watch us live every week. You can go to iTunes and you can listen to the show there. You can download that to your favorite streaming device. You can also go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You can then go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. And then you could also get the Android app for your smartphone or tablet. You can listen to the show that way. You can check out the merchandise. You can just do about everything that you can do on our website through there. It's actually, in my opinion, right now, since I haven't redone the website, easier. So go ahead and get the free app for your phone or tablet. You won't be sorry. It's completely free, and it's a ton of fun. So, and that's it. Oh, you can also do a search for us in your favorite search engine. Scott likes Google. And
Google it.
You'll find us that way. Just do a search for Moviesucktastic. And that's about it. So what say you? Any wisdom?
Whores and whiskey.
All right. Why not, right? You only live once. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye. Or in a couple minutes if you listen to these when we record them.